I'm gonna get started now. Why torture is not okay. A speech by Sierra Roberts. I said Roberts. Anyways, torture. Torture is the action or practice of inflicting severe pain on someone as a punishment or force them to do or say something, or just for the pleasure of the person inflicting the pain. Torture has been around for a while now. It dates all the way back to 530 AD. Anyways, when the Romans first adapted torture into their culture, they said it was the highest form of the truth. I believe what they meant by that. It was the best way to get the truth out of people. The 18th century seemed to still do torture, but only with exceptions. The Middle Ages torture was used to extract information, to force confessions, to punish suspects and frighten opponents, and satisfy personal hatred. Some ways the nobilities would use torture was by hanging the people that they thought would be criminals. And then they would hang them by their body parts and like fingers and stuff. Torture was used almost exclusively for the crime treason. One well-acknowledged act of torture would be Hitler's Torture Act. January 30th, 1933, Adolf Hitler would begin his revengeful acts upon the Jews. The reason Hitler hated Jews was because he claimed they were responsible for huge events. Hitler would murder altogether 11,283,000 people. The Nazis would use torture acts such as burn them to death, they would starve them to death, they would beat them, they would do a bunch of stuff. They lived in terrible conditions. Even though torture is not a big deal now rather than back then, it is still here. It's still a thing. This is Michelle Knight. Michelle Knight shares her story of torture, rape, and starvation. Michelle was abducted in 2002 and held captive for 11 years. 2013 she escaped and she will now begin her life again. She tells stories of miserable life, how the man first tricked her by offering her a ride to the place where she needed to go. Her 2-year-old son was taken from her, like by the government or something. So she was trying to get him back, and he tricked her. And then he said that she could have one of his puppies, and so they went to his house, and then he like forced her to stay. And there she was, captive for 11 years. Recovering from her memories, the terrible memories. As a researcher of torture, I have learned the ways of torture has been used, how long it has been around. I've watched the ways it has affected people, and it is still around today. Our world has almost ended torture, but it is still around. We could be so close to ending it, so let me ask you, do you still want to live in a world of torture? Hi everyone, my name is Sierra Roberts, and this is my co-host Caitlin Behe and Alicia. Why torture is not okay. A speech by Sierra Roberts.
It's not okay.
There you go.